floor companies will tell you you can. They want to sell the product, so they're going to give you ideas on how to install it on a concrete slab. But it's not ready. You have to think of the moisture within the ground getting up into the wood. What happens to the wood when it gets moist? It expands and contracts. It will ruin.
I've done with the wood in the floor. Mike has suggested putting down a heat floor first, followed by a granite or stone floor on top.
What that's going to do is, if there's any problems with it really pulling moisture out of the floor, it's going to keep that hot, and that's going to stop that problem. I'm just going to look on your equipment here for a second.
No, like I just had all new plumbing put in.
I see no signs at all of leakage under there, so why did you have no plumbing put in?
When you have massive water and damage like that, you try to cover all your bases before having to go through the problem of having to have your floor, your kitchen, totally dismantled.
So I'm going to pull the iron and pull the cabinets, the fridge. I will leave your uppers in place at this point.
Oh, good.
It is such a shame that I have to remove this granite countertop, and I'm going to guarantee that I probably will break it because it is still in place. It sure is.
If it does crack, then we'll deal with that situation because there is a lot of granite. But, fingers crossed, toes crossed.
I can tell by looking at the floor we are getting moisture from this whole side, but I don't see too much from this side. It's not showing comes into the floor. You see that? I don't see anything. I see it over near the door, but not here. So I'm starting to believe that it's coming from that side, whether it's from the ground or from the wall, but it's coming down and coming underneath the floor. Eventually it's going to whip right through the wood.
Right.
Just laying down a new floor is not going to solve the problem. You've got to find out where this water is coming from. There's a penetration somewhere. The roof, the back of the house, the side of the house, the floor, many different possibilities.
You have to get to the root of it because, not that I'm selling, but if I ever did sell, I would never sell a house unless it was in absolutely 110% condition. I would never pass anything on to anybody else. A, it's not fair, and B, I couldn't live with myself for trying to do it. But I'm not selling. I'm here to the end.
I'm just hoping I don't have to take your addition down, so let's just start from the beginning, remove everything, and find out where it's coming from. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to find it. I'll take down whatever's necessary, even if it's the roof. We will source it out and find out where this water is coming from. I'm going to be looking for many things, but at this point, until I remove everything, it's a couple of guesses.
Oh, it's going to be the end of my floor woes. I know, the right man is doing the job. And, unfortunately for him, but fortunately for me, I'm going to be hanging my head over his shoulder. I'll be an inspector. But I know it'll be done properly. And I'm grateful for it. Truly grateful.
Let's see if I can put a smile on your face, okay?
Oh, you'll put a smile on everything.
All right. Let me go with my guys.
Okay, thanks so much.
There's no doubt water's coming in, and where? I'm going to have to put on my Sherlock Holmes hat and find out. This is what we call a infrared camera, and we're picking up the differences in temperature that were on the surfaces of objects. So you can actually get the heat off the main if you should. Absolutely. That's the best picture of it.
My day starts at 6 every morning. It's a lot of work, but it's easier since we move. How many more?
Coverage of the federal election continued with 3 candidates debating the issues on which live. They were conservative Lisa Rich, who squared off with Olivia Chow from the NDP, and liberal candidate Navdeep Bains.
And when you're going door to door, what are you hearing as the issue that people are concerned about? Trust. Is it trust with you? Absolutely. You don't trust either.
They want to see some results. Stop talking about it. That's different.
They don't want an election.
Okay, Lisa, last word before break.
They don't want an election. They don't want us wasting their money on $300 million of an election.
They say online is broken.
Another election news, the RCMP is saying it overstepped its bounds by ejecting people from Tory events. This after a 19-year-old was kicked out of a Hoffer rally in London because she was Facebook friends with Michael Ignatieff. He talked about it again in Bouchard, Quebec today.
Here's a prime minister who actually is saying, I'm afraid of what that young Canadian citizen might do in a public rally. Heaven knows, she might ask me a question. She might make a full. We've got to stop that. That might get out of control. We might actually have a little democracy in this country. Right? This is what's going on here.
The Harper has said since the beginning that there wasn't enough room in the venue, and that's why she wasn't allowed in. Now, it was Michael Ignatius, $10 to sweating when he appointed a faithful political candidate in central Quebec, who founded a white supremacist group, was the candidate there. He was turfed by the end of the day by
99.9% of bacteria and mops can spread around.
I like your pad.
Swiffer cleans better than a mop or your money back.
But I know that Thomas Mulcair, who had been in the riding, people were telling him about the record of this particular individual. It wasn't exactly something that wasn't known about. I mean, L'Actualité is a rather well-read magazine in Quebec, and one of the major magazines in the province. I understand where these statements were made. I mean, it shouldn't take the NDP to have to discover racism in the Liberal Party, but that's, as it turns out, what happened in this case.
Layton's in BC will stay there overnight, and tomorrow expect dueling rallies from Ignatius and Harper. Back to you, Kyle.
All right, Farah, thank you very much. We'll look forward to that. Another blow to a Toronto police detective who's been convicted of assaulting a prisoner.
Officer, do you have anything you'd like to say to us?
No, ma'am. When Detective Christopher Higgins reported to work, the 22-year veteran learned he was suspended without pay. Higgins was sentenced Tuesday to 90 days in jail for breaking a prisoner's arm back in 2004. He's out on bail in New York. The idea of showing TV ads in high school hallways is back before the Toronto District School Board again. A proposal to expand the pilot project with televisions in schools was rejected by trustees last month, but
Opening this up, let's get in there and see what slab is sitting on before we rip it all out. Just do a small area, see what's going on. Then we have thermographic images. A helpful tool right now to actually look at. Sure. Rob, I really appreciate you coming in here, and I think every contractor should have one of these. How long has this been out? This has been around for about 30 years in terms of the technology, but only in the last couple of years have we brought it down to the size and cost that a typical contractor might be able to afford. This is what we call a infrared camera, and we're picking up the differences in temperature that were on the surfaces of objects. It's up to the operator to determine if that difference in temperature is due to water damage or heat loss or something else. Yeah. You can actually get the heat off of me if you should. Absolutely. Yeah, we can take a look at your point belly. You can see your breathing as you're breathing in and out. We can see the heat and the cold of your breath. That's the best picture of it. We can apply a false color palette as well if there's some other different way that we'd like you to look. Oh, that's really handsome. Why is my nose green? All we're showing here is a difference in temperature. So my nose is cooler than my face. Exactly. Can I see through this wall right now? No, I won't be able to see through the wall. We're only going to be able to see surface. What about just looking at the ceiling? Absolutely. Let's take a look at the ceiling here. We have a couple of little patches. Green patch right there. Another patch right here beside this guy. That was either possibility it's water or no insulation. That's correct. How about the floor? There's no moisture on the surface of the floor. That's basically all I can. Well, if I pull up the floor, does that help? Yeah, if we pulled up the wood, we might be able to see something. Oh, it's fine with me. Well, we'll see what we see. Oh, we can see there's water damage on the plywood. Yeah, it's a little bit colder. You can just in general see a faint cold. You know, I can't really tell from the store area if there's any pattern for water damage. I guess I'm just going to have to really point there. I mean, pull it out and start cutting open some drywall on this side. Take a look to see what I see within the void. For me, I see that being completely empty. If you don't mind, I'm going to call you a few times. Absolutely. Mom, I appreciate it. Thank you. Take it easy. All right. What are you doing? We have a water issue here. It's coming into the kitchen big time. I think it's a lot to do with the concrete slab. You can see the foundation wall. So this has got some green in it, and it's cracked here too. So obviously the emission started. Yeah, but the green tells me it's absorbing water, so that's not a good sign. I had Rob come in here, our engineer, and he took a look at it. He's come to the same conclusion. I did. Then I brought in thermal guys to do thermal imaging. So now, forget science, let's put our investigators hats on. Let's go up and take a look at the roof. We'll start from the top and work our way down. That's the drainage bed, there's the scupper. And we have low points here. Oh, get out of here. It looks like the stucco guys have blocked it. Why would they do that? I don't know. There's a 4-inch gap here from the top of the stucco up. And when it's driving rain, and definitely from the east we have driving rain. Oh yeah. Hitting that would make it go down and behind it. We saw water coming in around this side of the skylight downstairs and one in the corner. Well, the roof sucks. I have two theories here. One, we're leaking from this side of the house in underneath the cabinets across the floor. Two, they put a concrete pad right on top of earth, and it's leaking right through the earth. No drainage underneath, no drainage, no stone. So let's go downstairs, let's pull the fridge, let's punch a hole in the wall behind the fridge, take a look at what we see in the wall. That's what I'd like to do, don't you? Get rid of the full addition and build her a new one. By the time we fix all the little stuff in here, let's see if we can find the water line first. Okay. See, I don't think it has anything to do with this area because we see nothing wrong with the floor here at all, which tells me I don't think there's an issue coming in here. I really believe we have an issue behind this fridge because we have this as the raw area. We see that it's completely rotted wood here. Why would you put hardwood down here? That's a great question. Great friend. Great question. How do you want to get these cabinets and these countertops out without breaking them? Well, if I use my head and call the granite guys, I'm going to let them do it. Right. Good call. Let's get some pry bars. I want to pull out the strips in this area and in front of the door. And I want to pull this fridge. And then we're going to cut a hole behind the fridge because I want to check the wall first. Pull it. Signs of mold across the wood here, right? That could be just absorbed from this point. You see the mold on the bottom of the drywall there? Yeah. That's a bad sign right there. Is it just on the floor and it's now looking at the drywall? Is it coming in from the bottom? We see no sealant whatsoever across here. Was it from the fridge? I have to say no, because you had all the plumbing installed. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more when I pull up this floor. It just shows you. This is how bad the wood was before. Obviously, the piece that was here was even worse because they pulled up this piece and replaced this piece before they did the floor. But why replace this piece? Right there. No, there's not. It's already break down. So what do we see? I'm going to assume 3/4 inch plywood, probably 5/8. Screw or nails, we actually see it nailed right to the concrete. We see that the screws are rusted, which says we have moisture in between the plywood and the concrete. I would never, in a million years, put oak over a concrete slab that was on ground. I would never, in a million years, put 3/8 down on top of plywood because you can't nail it properly. What we do see, though, is a concentrated area of where the water problem is. We know that they've replaced this plywood, so I would say at one time this was really bad, probably worse than this one. Whether or not it's the floor, I don't know. We're going to keep going, but we can see this is the area. This is not so bad, even though it's a new sheet. We can see that it's bled, possibly, from one wood to another, because we can see the areas in here that are wet. I still have to find out about the concrete underneath, so we're going to be pulling everything, including the sheeting, everything. Unfortunately, I have no choice but to pull the cabinet. I have to determine where this leak is coming from. If we damage it, we have to replace all of it. Then that could be a costly mistake. I'm going to place a look back here. I bet you break it.
Closed captioning of this program.
Best of obviously the two with the showers and a little bit of rain trying to sneak in for Sunday. Try to enjoy the warm-up. Yeah. Oh, I will. So will so many others after a day like today too. Definitely. All right. Thank you very much, Chris. And remember, we have weather and traffic on our screen all the time, and you can also log on to cp24.com.
CP24 Weather is brought to you by Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. Intense fighting continues in Libya. Coming up, why NATO's mission is getting more difficult to carry on.